we're recording. So welcome to the AI Pathway course information session. Thank you for being here. My name is Matt Winslow. I am the chair of the Essential Education Transformation Committee, and I'm here with several other members of that committee, Allison Buck, Molly McKinney, Jeff Reed, and Leah Simpkins. We've all been working together with other people on the committee for the past more than a year to develop this pathway model of essential education. So we're here to give you some information about how we envision both the pathway model itself and also some important information about the details about how you can design and propose a pathway course if you're interested, and I hope you are. So without further ado, I'm going to get started here. Let's see if I can't get this to advance. Here we are. Well, no. Okay. So I just want to talk a little bit about the world that our students are graduating into now and will be for certainly the immediate future, if not for the longer term future. And I just saw this term recently, the polycrisis. This is a recognition that we don't have one crisis happening at the moment. We have lots of crises happening at the moment, and they all interact, unfortunately. So we have climate change going on, and we have dramatic inequality in our society, and division, and a loneliness epidemic. And AI is also one of those crises. And again, these are things that are not standing alone. These are things that are intertwined and that are ongoing. People in the design world call these wicked problems. And wicked problems have a number of features that I'm not going to go through today. You can find out what a wicked problem is. There's a lot of research on wicked problems, but one of the most important things about wicked problems for us and for our committee was that wicked problems are not disciplinary. They don't belong just to one discipline. So climate change is not just an environmental science problem. It is a political science problem and an economics problem and a scientific problem. And that's true of all of these wicked problems, and it's certainly true of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not just a problem of computer science, and we shouldn't be satisfied just leaving the solving of this wicked problem to computer scientists. And it's not only not just not disciplinary, it's not even interdisciplinary. It's really what I would say is transdisciplinary. That is, it really doesn't even honor or recognize disciplinary boundaries. AI is something that touches on every single discipline. Probably every instructor on our campus is thinking about AI, both in terms of their instruction, but also in terms of their discipline. And we know that our students are thinking about it no matter what major they're in. It's affecting their job prospects, and it's affecting all of our lives, whether it's our professional life, our personal life, our social life, our civic life. It is a problem that we need to look at from multiple perspectives. And so what our students really need is a number of things. What our students really need to deal with any of these wicked problems and these complex problems is complicated, sophisticated, and integrative thinking, right? This is what it takes to understand any of these complex problems is, again, not just one way of understanding it, but multiple ways of looking at it. Our students are also going to need to think about these wicked problems in a solutions-focused manner. We want to get them thinking about not just understanding these problems, but when they graduate, they're going to need to go out into the world and have kind of a solutions mindset. Like, what can we do about these problems, not just what the problem is. I also think that our students are going to need to be able to produce and to have the mindset of producing authentic deliverables, right? So what we hope our students leave EKU with, I think in general, are skills and knowledge about how to create things that are beyond just academic um, products, deliverables, but also ones that can have an authentic value in the real world. And then finally, I think that what our students really need to understand and deal with these complicated challenges is a sense of community and a sense of um, civic engagement and civic responsibility. And so we hope that the pathway model can provide our students with all of these things and more. And really, I think what they need the most is the insights that experts from multiple disciplines can give them about artificial intelligence, right? Um, at EKU, we could decide that we're going to have one or two or three or four courses about AI that we're going to make all students take. This is the approach from other universities. Purdue, for example, has developed four courses that every student is going to be required to take. We could go that route. We could have gone that route, but um, in our opinion, that is not going to be as meaningful as if a student can take multiple courses from experts in a variety of disciplines. I'm talking about you. You are all the experts, and each of our disciplines, I think, has something to contribute. We think has something to contribute to our understanding of AI, our students' understanding of AI, and I could never communicate that disciplinary perspective for a discipline other than my own. I can only do it for psychology. That's where I come from, and so I can talk about what psychology can contribute to our understanding of AI, but I can't talk about mathematics or sociology or art or criminal justice or any other discipline. That's why we need you and as many faculty from across campus as possible to think about developing pathway courses that are really about and really focus on what your discipline can contribute to our students' understanding of this very complicated problem. So I just want to point out that it's important that the pathway model, we don't um, want or need or even suggest that anyone who teaches a pathway course is an endorser or a user of AI. If you teach a pathway course, you don't need to use AI yourself or even require students to use AI. What our students really need are all of the perspectives about AI across the board, right? We need critics, we need skeptics, we need early adopters, we need people who have a utopian view, a dystopian view. No matter what your opinion is, personally or from your discipline, our students need to hear that, right? Because again, if we just said we're going to teach one class about AI and we're going to have it taught by pick a discipline. It could be computer science, or it could be ethics, or it could be art. One course is not going to give our students the varied perspectives on AI that I think our students are really going to need to understand it in a complicated and sophisticated way. So we hope that people who develop pathway courses will come at it from both their personal um, opinions about AI, but also importantly, their disciplinary lens, and talk about what your discipline has to bring to the table in terms of what AI is and how students should think about AI and how they can live with AI. Now, for me, this is an exciting idea. And what I've done is created a little bot on an AI platform called Boodlebox. And I'm going to, if you follow this QR code, I'm going to try and put this link into the chat. 1 second here. This is a bot that will take you, let's see here. I will ask you some questions, ask you what discipline you are in, and engage with you, and you can go back and forth with it. And it will give you some ideas if you're curious about possible topics for a pathway course from your discipline. So um, I'm just going to give you just a few minutes to explore that. Let me know if you have trouble getting access to it. Anybody want to share some ideas of what is given you? Anybody find something interesting or unexpected? You can just come off mute or put it into the chat.
Mine is offering to generate 3 learning objectives on the topics that we discussed. So that's pretty cool.
Very nice. Thank you. Britt, strategic searching in an AI mediated world. Britt's a librarian, so that's interesting. Excellent. If you haven't tried your hand at making bots, I invite you to do that. I think it's really an interesting thing. For topic number 5, rethinking assessment, generate 3 specific assignment ideas that would help pre-service teachers practice designing AI resistant literacy assignments for K-12. I mean, so there's a lot there, right? There's a lot there. So I really just invite you to play around with that. That's just a way to generate ideas. I think that's one of the cool things that AI can do. But yeah, you love Boodlebox. I love Boodlebox. It is really a cool platform. If you don't know what Boodlebox is, I invite you to look at it. Of course, it's not one of the official AI university approved AI platforms, so be careful. But it is a cool tool. Okay, well, again, I invite you to play around with that on your own time, but I want to keep on going with our presentation, and then I'm going to turn it over to Allison. Oh, I think I went too far. There we go.
There we go. Perfect. Thanks, Matt. I'm Allison Buck. I'm an associate professor of sociology, and I am working with the grad profile team on the pathways and various other things, and also have been in this EETC group. So one thing that we want to emphasize is that pathway courses are essential education courses. And that means that they must meet all of the essential education requirements. The student learning outcomes for the element, if you take option 1, and Leah will talk more about this, you take an existing course and modify it, the course description, the assessment of the 2 competencies and the 2 essential skills. And it will also need to meet the requirements for the pathway theme integration. But there is a ton of support. I want to talk a little bit about that. So the Essential Skills Professional Development Series, if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the changes involved with our transition to essential education, this series is designed to get you to whelmed. Participating in it should leave you not just whelmed, but confident going into fall 26 and excited and ready to teach the essential skills, hopefully teach in a pathway, maybe in spring 27. You can register for those using the QR code at the bottom of that flyer right there. If you have questions about any of those sessions, please reach out. And I will go ahead and turn it over.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leah Simpkins, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Occupational Science and Occupational Therapy, and I too am a part of this team, this group. So what I'm talking about today are the 2 approaches to creating a pathway course. And so one approach is not any better than the other approach. It's just 2 different ways of looking at how to create a pathway course. So basically, both approaches are valid, and option 1 is to revise an existing course, and option 2 is to design an entirely new course. Thank you. The option one, so when you're looking at revising an existing essential education course, so basically it's just that you're going to take a course that you already teach and redesign it. And when you are redesigning it, you are examining that content through that specific lens of the pathway theme, which in this case would be AI. And what this would look like would be the course would remain and retain that essential education element and student learning outcomes. The course is just reframed with that thought process pertaining solely to the pathway theme. The readings are selected and supplemented. The assignments are tailored specifically to that specific discipline's thinking, methods, and that pathway theme. And then lastly, the class activities and discussions are explicitly selected to engage students in the pathway theme. So an example, and then we'll also have some other examples later. I believe Jeff will be talking about that, but this is just an example using the sociology class as if you're introducing students to the study of human society, culture, socialization, and so forth, and then focusing on how that AI would reshape that into those dynamics. And then option two is designing an entirely new essential education course. And that course is designed around that pathway theme from the ground up. And this has the specific focus on the essential education requirements for that particular element while still focusing solely on the pathway theme. And like I said, this would be coming from the ground up. The course would be designed around that pathway theme organizational principle, if I can talk. And the student learning outcomes, they will align with the element, and the student learning outcomes will align with the pathway theme. The course, of course, still would satisfy all of the essential education requirements for that element. And lastly, the content, readings, activities, discussions, everything would be specifically designed focusing on that pathway theme. And then here's another example using a philosophy course, technology and values, and then the students would examine those theories, the ethics, the technology, and so forth. Now I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, I believe.
Hey everybody, Jeff Reed, Assistant Professor in Child and Family Studies and also a member of the EETC. Just going over some specifics about how integration of the AI theme would work and kind of how that fits in the process. And you'll send a proposal to UGEC, the Gen Ed committee. And in that proposal, you'll need to clearly articulate really how that theme is being integrated, embedded within the course that you're proposing, whichever option you choose from what Leah was describing. So, this is not going to simply be mentioning AI. You'll need to really demonstrate a substantive level of integration. So that may be things like, demonstrating how AI concepts or tools or implications, critical lenses, how those things are woven into the course, again, from your disciplinary perspective. And along those lines, and as you'll see on the next slide here in a second, the approach you use for integration is flexible. You're the content expert in your discipline, so the method of integration of the pathway is really up to you. But when you get to UGEC, you get to determine those methods, but UGEC will evaluate the proposal, determine whether it moves forward based on the quality and depth of integration in your description. And so again, a superficial level of engagement with the pathway theme, like one assignment where you changed it to mention AI a bit, that's probably not going to work. So what can you do instead? Let's see this on the next slide. Through the UGEC process, again, you'll be asked to provide a detailed description of integration. So here are some specific ways, and if you want some examples, we can click on these titles here and give some examples of how some other instructors have integrated the AI theme in this particular way, or you can come to the workshop that we'll be doing as well. But some ways you can integrate the theme are content and sources. So just thinking about the readings you choose, if you have case studies or examples or videos, whatever material you're using, how does that engage with the pathway theme? Or assessments, how do the assignments or exams or quizzes or projects or other kinds of assessments require students to apply your disciplinary thinking to the AI pathway? And it's not like every assignment, of course, needs to include AI or even every assessment necessarily. But the idea is the course overall needs to include significant engagement, integration of the theme. And then class activities. So thinking about your discussions or exercises, labs, online activities or experiences. How do those things explore the pathway theme? And then finally, the course structure. How does the overall organization of the course, thinking about your objectives, looking over the course outline, how do the course topics reflect AI engagement?
And now it's my turn. So you might be asking yourself, how I'm coming up with a new class. I'm not taking an old class and rearranging. No, I want a new class. How do I do this? How do I propose this for the pathway? Well, you got to go through Gen Ed committee. Ta-da! I would encourage you first to reach out to the co-chairs. Aaron and JP are your people. And if you're looking to get this in for our next semester, which would be spring 27, you want to do that like today, maybe tomorrow. But soon, because this process does take a while. And remember, we're always kind of jumping a semester ahead, behind, I don't know. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. So get that stuff in soon. They're very knowledgeable, very helpful. And PS, if you go this next piece I'm going to tell you about, prepare the proposal form, you can Google that form till the cows come home. You're not going to find it. So go talk to JP or Aaron. They can help you. I'm pretty sure they can access that form for you, get that to you so you can get the ball rolling. Then you're going to prepare the application. That is indeed found on the website. I promise. I found that. You're going to then send that through to the Gen Ed co-chairs for preliminary review. They're going to tell you if you're missing something, if your, assessments aren't linked to your student learning outcomes. Like, they are very good at this. They will let you know if something is out of whack and needs to be adjusted, changed around, whatever. To get you in a really good position to go through the next process, which is doing the standard thing where you're going through your department in college, then you'll go through the full Gen Ed committee and then to CAA. So again, this is, that was a lot of steps. So my drive home message for this is, if you're looking to potentially get in for a spring 27 start, because remember, fall 26, those are already chosen, already on the books. Spring 27, you got to get them in. Gen Ed CAA reviews will be in April. So you got a little over a month, 6 weeks maybe. And those again will be for spring 27. So get it in, people. Get it in. Um, it's not as bad. I know it sounds bad. I know it sounds like, OMG, that is a lot of stuff. It's not that bad. You need a syllabus, you need the proposal form, you need to link your outcomes and the elements stuff like assessments, all that. Nothing more than you're doing for every other class you teach. It's not that bad. It'll be great. And they're going to help you. You're not on your own. You can do this. You're going to have support and guidance from the chairs. They're the top. They're the top dogs. They know what's going on. Please don't tell them I just compare them to dogs. So please, if you have some ideas, if you have, some burning course design in your brain after you've used Matt's bot and created something amazing, get it out there. But again, if you want to see it materialize in spring 27, please get on that soon. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here and talk about one more thing, and then we're going to open it up for questions in a minute. Let me just say, a minute ago, it was hailing and it was really loud. So if that happens, my apologies. But another exciting thing that we're planning for starting in spring 27 is what we call the Pathway Conference. And so really one of the challenges for the Pathway program in general that, and this is a criticism we've heard from people across campus, is that only a small number of students are going to be able to take advantage of the Pathway courses because, again, right now for fall 26, we have 4 Pathway courses that are going to be taught, 4 sections total. So that's not very many students. And even hopefully we're going to have a lot more courses being taught in spring 27. But even so, when you think about the vast number of students taking essential education courses, it's a small fraction. So how can we spread the benefit of taking these Pathway courses out beyond just those students who are taking those Pathway courses? And one way to do that is to have a conference. Oh, and the other thing that we want to try and work on is the value that students see in essential education courses. If you teach general education courses, you may have had this experience where students seem not to understand the value of this course, even though you probably spend a bunch of time trying to point out the value of your course to them in their lives. We think the conference can do a lot of work in on both these fronts. So the conference is going to be a pathway themed, in this case, an AI themed conference that's going to happen in April 27 during Scholars Month. And we're going to open it up to any students who have taken a pathway course, or any group of students who have taken a pathway course, or any instructors who have taught a pathway course, if they want to have an entire course presenting at the conference. It can take lots of different formats, but all those people who have taken a pathway course are invited to submit something to the conference. And again, this something can be almost anything. We're going to make it quite broad, but the idea is that our students will have benefited from taking this pathway course in terms of their understanding of AI from that disciplinary lens. What can they tell other people who haven't had that course about what they learned? How can they spread the benefit of that course out to other people, other students, other members of the campus community? It could be other administrators, staff, other faculty. And eventually, we hope that the benefits can be spread beyond our campus community, right? So this might be a way to lean into civic engagement. What can we do to help students or help people outside of the campus community based on our scholarly activity at EKU? So that's a form of civic engagement. I would say that there are going to be several essential skills developed in developing a conference proposal, and that's really great. It's a way to integrate those essential skills as well. Again, this is going back to what I said at the beginning. These are going to be authentic outcomes, right? These are not just for students' academic benefits, but for real benefits for the real world. We also hope that will provide some community. And so that's going to start in spring 27. So, we're probably going to start small, but hopefully this conference will gain in size and scope and really start to produce benefits for not just those students who have taken our pathway courses, but for other people as well. So that's another aspect of the pathway model that we're really excited about. So I just want to take a step back for a second and talk again about not what our students need. That's the driving focus for the EETC has been thinking about what our students really need from an essential education program. But it's more than what our students need. It's what we all need. And what I would suggest is that we as a society, not just an EKU campus, but society-wide, what we need are people, citizens who can think in complicated and sophisticated, creative ways about AI to begin with, other pathway themes as we evolve. We need more people who know how to solve problems, have this solutions mindset. And we need more people who know how to engage in civic life, who graduate and it's not just thrown into our civic world out there, not knowing what to do, but who have had some experience doing that. And we can give our students all of those things as part of essential education by developing these pathway courses. I think essential education is going to do a lot of these things, even the non-pathway courses, absolutely, but hopefully the pathway courses can even build on that and really lean into these things so that when our students leave EKU, if they've taken 3 or 5, or imagine our students taking maybe even 8 or 10 pathway courses, they could theoretically take every single essential education course as a pathway course, and they will have heard faculty, people who are experts in their discipline, talk about AI in whatever way they see from their discipline. And if our students had all of those perspectives on AI, I think they would be in an incredible position to be leaders in their community, leaders in their field, whatever field that they're choosing to go into, whatever job, whatever family life. They're going to be much more knowledgeable about AI than most people in their community, maybe the top 5%, right? If you think about, how much I know about AI, I know a lot about it from my discipline, but I don't know anything about it from most other disciplines, but our students are going to really know a lot about it. So we think that this is a way to really bolster our students and arm them with the sophisticated and critical thinking that is really required to deal with this particular wicked problem. So that's really what drove our committee and what led us to come up with this pathway model. Okay, so in terms of next steps, as I think Jeff mentioned, we are going to have a pathway course design workshop that is going to be more than just an hour. It might be 2 or 3 hours long, where we're really going to get into, and it's going to be much more hands-on. And so if you are really interested in developing a pathway course, we're going to get a bunch of us together, and we're all going to get together to try and think about best practices. And we're going to hopefully have some guest speakers, the people who are teaching a pathway course starting in the fall of 26. They're going to be there. They're already several steps ahead of most of us. So they're going to be there helping us think, instruct us about how they've thought about it, all the steps that they've taken. That we haven't figured out the date yet, but it's going to be in maybe right after spring break, because we did the deadlines we talked about that Molly mentioned are coming up. So the idea, I think, of the workshop is that you might leave that workshop with at least a draft of all the documents you need to submit to the Gen Ed committee. And so that will do a lot to prepare you for that process. Also, as Allison pointed out, there are all these incredible professional development sessions about the essential skills, about um, all the backwards design. We're having those this week, and there'll be more sessions to come. And again, you can register for those skills by going to the link that Allison put in the chat, or there is that QR code to register for those things. Also in EKU today, there are announcements everywhere. So those are the things that are coming up. But I'm happy that we're going to have a fair amount of time available for questions. We invite you to ask us any questions you'd like. You can put them in the chat or come off mute, whatever you'd like.
I just wanted to jump in really quickly, and I think we covered this, but I just wanted to emphasize that if you are interested in a pathway course and you are adapting in an existing course, you are not beholden to that tight timeline. That is for new courses. If you are adapting an existing course, that already exists in the catalog. And that is really the limitation. That's the reason for the new courses to be in by I think JP said March 27th.
Questions, comments, criticisms? Here's Catherine Stern. For the Pathway Conference, I think it would be great for a panel of the teachers who taught in the fall 26 to discuss their experiences. I love that idea. We're asking a lot of those instructors to go first, and we're going to be calling upon them for the workshop. But I love that idea, and I hope that the Pathway Conference. The main goal of the conference is to give students the opportunity to present and to share their work. But I also hope that we can get a panel of faculty together to talk about pathway pedagogy and their experiences. So I love that idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. Other suggestions? These are great. Thank you. Raise your hand if you're considering designing a pathway course. I'm just curious. I got a few. Right on. Thank you. Awesome. Alan, please. Oh, and Wendy. Oh, these people raising their hands. That's awesome. Thank you. That's great to hear. Emily, awesome. I would encourage you to spread the word and to your colleagues in your departments or other departments in your college. Again, our students are going to really benefit from having a diverse group of perspectives that they can take courses from, beyond class for certain STEM. We know that those are the colleges that are most represented in essential education in general, but I would love it if there were classes from the other colleges that were pathway courses. I think that's going to be really helpful, really interesting. And yeah, it would be great to hear how criminal justice thinks about AI or business or health sciences or education. All the colleges, would be great.
Matt, we have a question on site in
Oh,
Victor.
good. Please.
Yeah, this is Nilesh Joshi. I am the chair of the Engineering and Technology Department.
Yes.
Back in November, I sent a course proposal syllabus for a essential education course in AI pathway to both the co-chairs. then I didn't hear from them until January. And in January, the course proposal got forwarded to you, Matt,
Ah,
by the Technology and Society. And I was still waiting to hear from anybody. And today I hear that I should be doing it like today if I have to submit the course proposal. So any guidance on that?
um, I think the process that Molly talked about is what is the process you should follow, which is to contact again. I would send again your syllabus and course proposal to JP and Aaron. I don't think that they were ready to take proposals up until recently, and so I think if you send it to them again, they will be more responsive. You can send it to me again. I'm happy to look at it, or anybody on the EETC. We'd be happy to look it over, but we welcome your course proposal absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that sounds great. I will say, I think it's really cool that our cross essential education skill is skill 10, which is use information for decision making, and our inaugural pathway is AI. And that is definitely something that we did on purpose. And if anybody says otherwise, they're lying.
Anyone else? Well, we are certainly we welcome your questions and comments even after this session is over. So please, you can email me, Matthew Winslow at EKU, or anybody else that you heard from today. We're happy to respond to questions or comments. So please stay in touch and watch for that announcement about the workshop coming up. And we hope to see you at the workshop. And I hope that the weather cooperates and doesn't threaten anybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us some of your time. And we'll see you out there in Essential Education Land.